Welcome back. You're watching eNCA. We're having a special conversation with President Jacob Zuma in his capacity as the president of the African National Congress. Of course, this comes after he delivered the January 8th statement on the 104th birthday of the ANC. Mr. President, just before the break, we were talking about the issues to do with racism, privilege, and issues of reconciliation. Now, what are your views about this phenomenon that many have termed white privilege that seems to be so entrenched, leading to some of the sins we are seeing that may not necessarily be out and out racist, but they come from a certain attitude and understanding of the world?
Well, realities are realities. I don't think there is anyone who can say we don't know our past, where we come from. As you'd know, everything in this country was racially structured. Whether it was education, it was economy, it was politics, it was everything. What we have succeeded to do was to deal with the politics in the main, seriously, that the political power must be a changed kind of thing. But we have not succeeded to transform the economy. That is one of the key elements in any society. Who owns the economy? That is, if the minority owns the economy, not the majority, that influences the life and direction of the country. That's a reality that you can find anywhere else. And therefore, given our history, that's why people use the expression, these privileges are entrenched. What we decided to do is to open up the economy, grow the economy, so that you don't tackle the economy, the smaller one, to say you can now stop being to hold the economy. How do you develop the majority to be part of we started with policies of black empowerment, etc. It's moving very slowly because the nature of the economy is so entrenched in many ways. We are now saying, let us industrialize. Let us make the black people be industrialists as well. It's part of saying, open the space, open the economy so that the blacks who are a majority also participate. You can be in any country. You are in China. The Chinese, who are a majority, they control the Chinese economy. You can be in Russia. The Russians, who are the indigenous people there, they control the economy. You are in England, you are in the United States, everywhere else. You are wherever you are. Part of the reason people at times compare South Africa to other countries fail to appreciate that there was institutionalized racism in South Africa that crowded out the blacks from participation. We're in the process of making the majority to participate. And that's where these kind of hiccups come in, wherein those who have, even if you look at the unemployment, you look at whatever, that issue remains. The gap is too big. We are trying to close it. What it needs all of us to work together to understand that and to stop racist thinking. Because the racist thinking does not help that process of trying to close the gap. It in a sense, make people to have tension. So we can't do so. The fact that the majority are not in control, just take the stock exchange. Only 3% of the majority who are controlling there. That is the structure of our economy. That's what we need to work to. We can't break it in order to correct it. We must open up the space. We must create sufficiently. That's why you talk about infrastructure, energy, so that you create the space and you train those who were not trained before so that you could deal with the matter.
Mr. President, I'm glad you raised the issue of the economy. It featured a lot in the January 8th statement. In fact, even the theme for this year, because of course every year you give out a theme that says this is our focus. You're talking about this being the year of people's power. But your detractors are saying that while you were saying earlier on that there's no party that has good policies like the ANC, you break the economy, to use an expression you just used now, with some of the decisions you make, decisions such as the removal of Finance Minister Nhlanhla.
That's not breaking economy. That is not at all. people didn't understand what was happening, and they exaggerated the issue. Nene is a minister, and we took a decision that he should head the regional bank of BRICS. It's an international bank, because we want that bank to succeed. That bank is not just going to deal with South Africa only. It's going to deal with South Africa and Africa. It needs an experienced person. It needs a person who has been dealing with international finance people who is known. That's why you could take Nene there. I'm sure if we took Van Rooyen, people would have said, how could you take a fellow who has not have been a minister to run a bank there? They would also be complaining. I think people did not understand. I think there was an exaggeration in terms of the reaction. There is no single person who can collapse a department, particularly a department like the Treasury, which is well-functioning, well-established, with a very effective deputy minister, effective director general, and DDGs, etc. And with one person walking in, that's going to collapse it. I mean, it's an imagination, because he's going to be working with people who have been doing their work. I think there was overreaction to that issue. So it's not like breaking economy. It cannot be true.
Mr. President, the impact, though, was felt by all, and everyone saw that, what happened after you took that decision. And at the time, as the ANC continues to maintain even now, this is within your prerogative, of course, as the leader of the executive. Do you take full responsibility for perhaps not what you're calling the exaggeration, but the actual impact on the economy, the losses that the economy suffered?
The ANC took Trevor, who was never a Minister of Finance. The markets reacted, perhaps not to the same degree, but they reacted funny, because they did not know Trevor, who ended up being one of the best ministers. I'm saying, in no way you can say the markets, when they react, particularly, and it did not have the same qualifications like the man who went there, who has studied finances. That's why I'm saying people did not consider many things. and it's important to say the rand, for an example, had been going down when Nene was there. It had been going down for months and months. It was not triggered by the decision. There was a decision aimed at delivering something. There are many decisions that we have taken that people are not happy about, like this one. They reacted in a particular way. We had to respond to it. And we responded to it because we did not take it because we were just breaking everything. We're taking a decision with clear ideas what we're doing. And we're correct even then, not wrong.
Mr. President, I'm pressed for time. You raised the issue of the weakening rand, it happens to also happen at the same time as we are experiencing a drought, which means that we're going to have to import a lot of staples such as maize, which will then have a knock-on effect on, the affordability of those staples for ordinary South Africans. Where do you think the solution will come from to stem this situation and actually get our economy on a ground footing, on a solid footing that will, turn it around?
No. If this was just a problem of South Africa, you could then be saying, how could we deal with it? This is a global problem. The economic meltdown has been going on. The European countries could not come out for a number of years. I think people should have that in mind. If you add drought, then that worsens our situation. You would know that in 2008, thereafter, we were able to try to cushion our country because of the economy was at a particular strength. But now, given how it has been prolonged and you add drought, it's a difficult situation. That's what we are looking at. How do we deal with this situation? We have said, for an example, investors must not sit hesitant. They must participate. Because the more we invest, we create more jobs, the more we make the economy to grow. And we have got plans that we've put in place as a government that are clear, that there is no investor who could say, we don't know what South Africa is doing. There are specific programs, there is a plan that we are following, and therefore the area of investigation, of investment is absolutely clear. That's what we need to do. As government, we've done a lot to try to cushion the kind of economy. That's why I call upon the private sector to join us so that we participate.
Right, Mr. President, on that thought, let's take a quick break. After this short break, we conclude our conversation with President Jacob Zuma, touching on issues such as affordable tertiary education, the state of parastatals, of course, and also talking about the issues of corruption that the President raised in that January 8th statement. But all of that after this short break.